Okay, let's just get right into it. If you work in manufacturing, you know the massive, pulsing headache that is technical documentation. We're talking thousands upon thousands of pages of manuals. Well, today's explainer looks at how Nick Software, a crew with over 25 years of custom dev experience, built something called NS DocNavigator. And let me tell you, it's fundamentally changing how we deal with all this data. Let's peel back the layers and see what's under the hood. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the 1,000-page manual problem, instant fully cited answers, the 3-stage intelligence flow, 8 layers of AI precision, uncompromised security and privacy, and finally, the ultimate manufacturing advantage. We've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's dive right in. Section 1. The 1,000-page manual problem and why traditional search just isn't enough. We're starting with a pain point that engineering, maintenance, and compliance teams know all too well. Now, notice the stark contrast here. On the left, we've got the current reality for a lot of folks. Engineers spending literal hours hunting through massive 1,000-page PDFs just to find one tiny specific procedure. The information is in there somewhere, but the cost of finding it is just way too high. But on the right, you see the shift this software introduces. We're moving from hours of frustrating hunting to getting instant, verifiable results in seconds. Because, the old way of doing things, it creates these costly knowledge silos. Critical info gets locked away in dead formats like PDFs, old Word docs, and scanned images. And since there's no single source of truth, you end up with inconsistent interpretations on the floor. Plus, there's zero traceability when someone actually does find an answer. Honestly, it's no wonder new staff can take weeks just to become productive. Moving to Section 2, Instant Answers Fully Cited. The big reveal. Let's look at the actual solution to this chronic problem. NS DocNavigator isn't just some generic search bar. It's actually a private, on-premise AI assistant. It actively reads over 30 different file formats. We're talking PDFs, spreadsheets, images, SharePoint sites, the whole shebang. And it answers your plain language questions. But the absolute killer feature? It gives you exact page-level citations for every single claim it makes. Okay, Section 3, the 3-stage intelligence flow and how it works. So how does it pull this off without, hallucinating or just making things up? Let's map out the workflow. The system basically runs on a highly structured 3-stage flow. First up is ingest. It takes your messy, real-world files, extracts the text, the tables, and even captions the images. Second, it understands them. It does this by building a vector and graph knowledge base, which you can kind of think of as a massive, hyper-connected index for the AI. And third, answer. It responds to your natural language questions, streaming the text right back to you with real-time citations. Section 4. 8 layers of AI precision. The tech specs. Now, for the really fascinating part, let's pull back the curtain on the heavy-hitting AI retrieval techniques working behind the scenes. Look, most systems use maybe 1 or 2 methods. NS DocNavigator layers 8 of them. Let's look at the absolute standouts. First up, semantic chunking. Instead of blindly slicing a document in half, this actually reads the room and keeps related ideas together. And when you pair that with Anthropic's contextual retrieval method, every single piece of data remembers exactly where it came from. So if a snippet says tighten the bolt to 12 Newton meters, the AI actually attaches a document-level prefix. It knows exactly which bolt in which specific procedure. And this brilliantly shows off the system's ability to self-correct using something called corrective RAG, or CRAG. Think of it as a self-correcting brain. If the AI looks at the chunks it just retrieves and realizes, wait, this doesn't accurately answer the question, like if the relevant score drops too low, it doesn't just confidently hand you a garbage answer. No, it automatically reformulates your query and tries again, behind the scenes. Now, for complex manufacturing environments, causal RAG is an absolute superpower. It explicitly hunts down cause and effect relationships, completely moving beyond simple keyword matching. It's literally built for troubleshooting. You can ask, hey, what causes the FlexCal sensor to drift? And it traces the actual mechanical relationships to help you find the root cause. And to tackle questions that span across multiple documents, it acts kind of like a detective, using multi-hop reasoning combined with the FockerDB knowledge graph. It spots components or entities in one document and then seamlessly pulls in connected neighbors from the graph. It literally breaks complex queries down into smaller sub-questions, finds the answers independently, and then stitches the whole thing together into one complete, synthesized response. Section 5. Uncompromised security and privacy. The shield. Because let's be real, none of this AI magic matters at all if your proprietary engineering data or standard operating procedures are exposed to the public internet. So, the absolutely crucial point for enterprise adoption is this: NS DocNavigator is 100% on premise. Your documents never leave your infrastructure. Period. There is absolutely no cloud data transfer required to store or parse your sensitive files. Plus, you're never locked into a single vendor. Check out the flexibility here. You can literally hot swap AI providers at runtime with zero downtime. You can use top-tier cloud AI models like Anthropic Claude or OpenAI for the absolute best quality chat, or you can switch to completely local AI models like Ollama, running right on your own GPU to guarantee zero data egress. You can even run a hybrid setup, cloud for the chat, local for the heavy ingestion. And incredibly, despite all these advanced layers, this entire architecture deploys with just a single Docker command. Literally, Docker compose up. For the IT folks listening, yes, it really is that easy. It spins up the embedded SQLite, the LansDB vector store, and the FalcorDB graph databases all at once on any Linux server. Section 6. The ultimate manufacturing advantage. The payoff. Let's move to our final section here and look at the real-world impact this has on your day-to-day operations. By implementing this, you aren't just getting a smarter search bar. You're compressing hours of frustrating manual search into mere seconds. You're slashing onboarding times so your new staff can query decades of institutional knowledge naturally. And you're establishing a single, highly accessible source of truth, all while maintaining total, assured data sovereignty. But the absolute standout feature here, and we really have to reiterate this, is that every single answer includes a clickable, page-level citation. That means compliance and audit teams can verify the exact provenance of any claim instantly, right down to the specific paragraph. You can even export these Q&A sessions straight to PDF, citations and all. That wraps up our explainer for today, but it does leave us with a pretty critical thought to ponder. In today's incredibly fast-paced, highly technical environment, if your critical institutional knowledge is locked away in thousands of pages of dead, inaccessible PDFs, do you truly possess that knowledge at all? Thanks so much for tuning in, and keep learning.